Welcome back to another episode of Matt doing everything he can to avoid getting an honest job. Today we're taking a look at the brand spanking new Bitmain Antminer S21, a 200 terahash mining powerhouse from Bitmain. Just landed yesterday, just plugged it in this morning. We're going to take a look at the specs, take a look on how to connect it, take a look on what we expect to make from it and what our strategy is on it moving forward. I'm the Technicals, let's get into it.
The Technicals.
All right, so the Bitmain Antminer S21, the brand new flagship Bitcoin SHA-256 miner from Bitmain, arguably the biggest name in Bitcoin mining, has been for some time. Just landed here yesterday, just got one. Got it for a pretty good price, I think, considering I got it in the January shipment. Not going to disclose that, but I got it for $5,000, a little over $5,000. That's what I did. You remember all those Lego sets I used to have? Sold all those to finance the Antminer so I can get more Lego sets. Anyway, what we're going to be doing with this in terms of strategy is trying to get as much coin as we can before the Bitcoin halving. When the Bitcoin halving comes along, the amount of Bitcoins mined per block gets cut in half. So you have half as many Bitcoins for the same amount of effort. And that's why this Antminer S21 is going to be the flagship moving forward, because it's doing it at about twice the efficiency of the S19s, depending on which model you're looking at. So you're using half as much energy to get the same amount of Bitcoin, or twice as much Bitcoin for the same amount of energy. You take my meaning. It's going to be equivalent to what it was right now during this epoch. Going into post-halving. So let's quickly take a look at the specs over here on Bitmain's website. 200 terahash is the overall speed. It's rated at 3,500 watts. I was watching Red Panda Mining's video yesterday. His was pulling almost 4,000, and in my very initial testing this morning, having a similar result, rated at 17.5 joules per terahash. Making it a very efficient miner. Insofar as the setup and the back end goes, it's the same Bitmain OS that you have on your S19s. Right now, logging in, taking a look, the reading off the back end here telling me I'm getting about 207, 208 terahash. When I was last looking at it, I was pulling close to 4,000 watts. We're going to check on that. We're going to give it a little more time. It's been up for about 18 minutes now. So we're going to give it a little more time to see what it settles out at. Taking a look over at the pool right now, I got it on NiceHash. I just threw it up on NiceHash just to get it running and kind of do some testing to make sure it's actually working. Taking a look here, it seems to me that it takes NiceHash a little while to get the true hash rates and kind of even out. So only been up for a little while now, and it's showing me at an accepted speed of 221. So that should balance out. It should come pretty close to what we're doing here. Eventually, we're probably going to migrate this over to via BTC or maybe some other pool. We'll do some pool testing to see where we're getting the best bang for our buck. But otherwise, things seem to be operating okay. So if it's your first ASIC miner, you've just got an S21, how do I set this thing up? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to log into your router, view the attached devices in your DHCP table. The Antminer will pop up. It'll be probably the highest number octet on the end. You're going to log in. You're going to type that IP number into your browser. It's going to ask you for a password, an admin and a password. You're going to put in root ROOT and ROOT again for username and password. That's going to log you into the dashboard here. Head over to settings. Under pool, you're going to put in your pool information from the mining pool that you've selected, and under miner name, for this instance, NiceHash. NiceHash uses this format. You put in your wallet address, period, and then your worker name. Click save, and then you're on your way. You're going to go over to the dashboard to monitor your settings and view your hash rate. Again, this is what the miner is telling you that it's doing, but you want to make sure you check your hash rate at the pool to make sure you're getting credit. A little bit more time has passed. The temperatures on the outlet were a little high for my liking, but now it's showing about 70s, low 70s. It is running hot and it is very loud. So we switched everything over to low power mode to see what kind of results that we're getting. Just went over and it's about 11.5, 12 amps that it's pulling. So if we do the math on that, about 2794, about 2800 watts, and it's showing us about 162 terahash. So noticeable decrease down from that height of like 208, 210 that we were getting, but at close to 4,000 watts. So we can do the efficiency calculation on that a little later. I'm going to let it run in low power mode now while I finish up this analysis. Another thing to note, the Bitmain Antminer S21 comes with this fancy new Fandangle cord from Bitmain. Seems to be the new standard. It's a P14 to C20 connector. So be sure that the PDU that you have has these C19 ports on it, so you're going to be able to connect it. Otherwise, you're going to have to look around for some kind of adapter or some kind of cable that connects directly to it. It's obviously advised to use the connection, the cable that comes from Bitmain, so it may be advantageous to go ahead and get a PDU that has a C19. All right, so how much does this thing make? What can we expect to make? We're taking a look over here on ASIC miner value. Today is January 10th, 2024. It is 3:30 a.m. in the AM. Taking a look at this at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, which is kind of an average for what most people get. Looking to take in 844 per day on the S21 at its stock settings. 200 terahash, 3550 watts. Going over here on what to mine under ASIC. We're going to put in 200 terahash, 3550 watts. We're not going to look at the most profitable. We're going to just look straight at Bitcoin. 1689 in total revenue, 837 per day in profit. So 837, 844, pretty close. We can expect, as of right now, this to be about 837, about $8.5. And that's with a $45,731 Bitcoin. So if you expect the price of Bitcoin to, go up in the next year, double that, you can sort of play with those numbers and see lofty, kind of wishful hopium that you want to do to see what your time horizon is on ROI. Again, I don't quite believe in trying to ROI these devices or looking at it through that lens, but if you want to do that, certainly go ahead. But if we were going to take everything as it is right now, nothing will ever change. The price will stay the same. It'll continue to make $8 per day. It looks like our time horizon for an ROI on this device is about 609 days, so under 2 years. If Bitcoin doubles in price, cut that in half. If it goes down, up even more, etc., etc., etc. All right, so what's our strategy with this machine? Again, halving is coming soon, so we're going to want to mine as much Bitcoin as we possibly can before the halving takes effect. I see a lot of people out there with Bitcoin miners. They're putting Brains OS on it. I put Brains on my S19s. I think it's a great program, but they're tuning for max efficiency. I don't think that's the right move right now as we approach halving. I think they're going to cut the supply of Bitcoin in half, create scarcity, so you're going to want to get as much as you can while you can, because difficulty is only going to go up. S21s are hitting the network every single day. There's only going to be more and more and more. People are going to get out of their S19s, get out of their S17s, get out of their S9. Who's still running an S9? They're going to be putting S21s on the network. So the hash rate is only going to go up. It's only going to get more difficult to get coins, and then they cut the coins in half. So more efficient miners like this are going to be, the new dynamic, and that's the same it's been for every single cycle. Now, I was out of the game for a while, but that's, again, something that just doesn't seem to have changed. All right, second part of the strategy. I'm going to keep an eye on the markets, especially post-halving. Depending on what the markets do, if they go through the roof, we go through the cyclical nature of Bitcoin again, computer hardware gets expensive, and especially ASIC miners. So we saw in lots of the previous cycles, really old, previous generation, 2 generations old, 3 generations old mining equipment suddenly going for sale on eBay for prices that we understand, because we're in, well, you more than me, in the trenches every day, is way overpriced. But ASICs are highly appealing to normies who don't have time to get into the depths of mining, and so they just want to get an ASIC machine. They're super easy to get started with. You plug in your pool information and you're making money right away. So these people go on eBay, they see an ASIC mining machine without really knowing what it's doing, and then they'll pay a premium for it and just not knowing that it's not that good of a machine. And so I want to capitalize on that. I have no moral quandary about this. So if the market goes through the roof and suddenly people want to pay $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 for an S21, I'm not going to say no to it. I'll bank the cash and I'll wait for the cycle to repeat itself and I'll buy something else. But I don't really think that's going to happen in too short of a time window following the halving. So I'm going to mine on this thing full bore as much as I can. And then once the halving takes place, stop and reevaluate. What other questions do you have about the S21? Do you want to see it put through some kind of pace? Do you want to see a pull test? What do you want to see? Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate you watching this video all the way through because it helps me get closer to monetization. Press like, subscribe. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.